Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this important hearing on this program that's expiring this year. I'm proud to have been a co-lead to the bipartisan over-the-counter monograph drug user fee program, MUFA, with Chair Guthrie, Dingell, and Latta. And through discussions across the aisle involving members, patients, doctors, pharmacists, and advocates, I'm committed to a thorough and fair reauthorization review process. I'm troubled since we cannot ensure we are safely and effectively monitoring both over-the-counter and prescription drugs without a strong FDA workforce. Yet the Trump administration is creating tremendous uncertainty by firing and then rehiring the FDA workforce. On February 24th, George fired 700 employees and then had to rehire many of them back after realizing that many of them were safety experts. And then last week, Secretary Kennedy announced a plan to cut 3,500 employees from the FDA. Firing key drug safety officials in the name of efficiency is short-sighted. It's not the way our healthcare system should be run, and quite frankly, it risks American safety. So having said that, to ensure that the over-the-counter drugs are safe, we expect them to follow a general recognition of safety and effectiveness, also known as GRACE. Mr. Menzel, we know that the Trump administration is enacting staffing cuts, but on the other hand is touting the importance of GRACE and is saying, to quote, it is essential that the FDA maintains this standard. Are staffing cuts at the FDA hampering the program?
Well, I do agree with you. I believe the FDA has been the gold standard. I don't envy the position that you all are in to navigate all of these variables. I can't speak to the administration's decision. In a situation like this, from an industry perspective, what I would say is the OMUFA reauthorization, especially considering all the staffing cuts and the impacts it could potentially have, is so critical so that there's a clear path. There's going to be a lot of variables that aren't clear paths right now with the FDA, but this particular situation with OMUFA reauthorization and the safety effectiveness of over-the-counter drugs is one of those.
Thank you. This part seems obvious, but it needs to be stated. An essential aspect of a successful government program is communicating. I've heard serious concerns from stakeholders that they are not being included in the conversations regarding the upcoming reauthorization. Now, Mr. Menzel, you mentioned that the FDA needs to be transparent and open to ensure a successful OMUFA reauthorization. If the administration decides to act independently and without frequent meetings, what's the risk?
Historically, FDA has been a very good partner to myself and to industry. Again, I can't speak to the impact of the job cuts or the potential rehiring or whatever happens as the FDA moves forward. But again, I just restate they have been the gold standard. They've been good partners in industry, at least for us, and reauthorization of OMUFA is critical for my company and our industry to allow that to keep happening.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'm co-chair of the Skin Cancer Caucus, so I want to end with sunscreen regulation. Sunscreen is critical in the prevention of skin cancer, as we've been discussing, yet there are concerns that the current FDA regulations regarding sunscreen active ingredients are not sufficient. As we have said, there's not been an approved new active ingredient in sunscreen since 1999. Dr. Rasek, I first want to get your opinion on the current situation of this sunscreen testing requirements. Does Congress need to alter the requirements on testing to increase the available active ingredient list? And then, because we're running out of time, what's the biggest issue facing the melanoma community with regards to this monograph reform?
Yes, we need Congress to help guide the FDA on where those gaps are. Again, just to reiterate, it is animal testing and the must trial. Those are the two biggest issues with why we're not getting new filters. As far as what the melanoma community needs and the impact here, This is a preventable cancer. I have the privilege of working with advocates from hopefully preventing melanoma in the first place all the way through navigating treatment and care for metastatic disease. It is brutal. It is parting your hair on the other side of your face to hide a big scar. It is missing work because your only option is a clinical trial at that point. And so we really appreciate Congress's support to help us in that prevention space because we don't want people to get to that point where it's stage 4. Doesn't have to happen.
Thank you. I yield back, but I would point out it's been since 1999 that we've done anything. Yield back, Mr. Chair.
Gentlelady, you.